Good morning, everyone. Welcome to JMC Study Hub. This is Srishti Ghosh, and today we will be discussing some questions from our film and visual communication part. I will try to make you understand in Hindi as well today, so you have a better understanding of what it is about. So let's start without wasting time. तो हम लोग का पहला क्वेश्चन आज है कि लूमियर ब्रदर्स के क्वेश्चंस है. Lumiere moving pictures in London was launched in which year? So आप लोग के पास options है. Option A 1945, option B 1911, option C 1895 and option D 1896. So ज्यादातर जब हम लोग के पास ऐसे dates आते हैं तो काफी confusing रहता है question के answers देने में. So यहाँ पे option C and D हम लोग को देखना है. 1896 में हम लोग ऑफ्टन आंसर दे देते हैं, बट दैट्स रॉन्ग. ऑप्शन सी इज एक्चुअली द करेक्ट आंसर 1895. ऑप्शन डी मैंने रॉन्ग क्यों बोला, इसीलिए कि 1896 में लूमियर ब्रदर्स फर्स्ट इंडिया में आए थे और इंडियन सिनेमा के अंदर जो मतलब फर्स्ट टाइम टू द इंडियन ऑडियंस को सिनेमा इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया था. Then, but before that, in 1895, the entire world saw what moving pictures are actually. So, the film worker leaving the Lumiere factory, also known as the employees leaving the Lumiere factory or exiting the factory, was essentially an 1895 French short film, and it was basically वो एक documentary था, ठीक है. So when that entire thing was a documentary, and that was the first time the audience or the viewers actually saw what moving pictures are, because पहले they used to see, pictures one after the other, because there was no certain camera or equipment was available to picturize the entire thing or shoot the entire thing. So this was the first this was the first real motion picture that was introduced to the audience for the very first time. Okay, so option C 1895 will be our correct answer. Next question हम लोग के पास है, which of the following element is known as the key to cinema? हम लोग के पास options है. Option A narrative, option B sound, option C mise-en-scene और option D editing. तो हम लोग के पास जो जो options है हम समझ सकते हैं कि यहाँ पे film elements का option दिया हुआ गया है. So in order to know कि key to cinema कौन सा है, we have to know all of the elements. ठीक है, narrative तो storytelling है, sound हम लोग को पता है, mise-en-scene जो हम frame में देखते हैं, और editing is basically referred to as the key to cinema. तो option D हम लोग का राइट आंसर है. क्यों हम लोग की टू सिनेमा बोलते हैं? क्योंकि नैरेटिव, साउंड और mise-en-scene में जो सब कुछ होता है वो प्री प्रोडक्शन और प्रोडक्शन स्टेज में होता है, ठीक है. सो प्रोडक्शन और प्री प्रोडक्शन स्टेज में हम लोग जो कलेक्ट करते हैं वो सब एक रॉ मटेरियल्स हम लोग के पास आ जाता है. जब हम एक फिल्म बना रहे होते हैं, डायरेक्टर के पास और अदर प्रोफेशनल्स के पास एक रॉ मटेरियल्स आ जाता है. फिर पोस्ट प्रोडक्शन में हम लोग क्या करते हैं, वो रॉ मटेरियल्स को एक साथ करके एक पूरा फिल्म बनाते हैं जो कि हम लोग का फाइनल प्रोडक्ट है. सो ये फाइनल प्रोडक्ट आएंगे नहीं अगर ये एडिटिंग का टेक्निक्स नहीं रहा तो. So to stitch together, to bring in together, to do the entire work, to bring out the final product, the fact of editing is required. So editing is called the key to cinema, as it is the only formal element that is unique to the medium. So unless and until, like just what I said right now, कि raw materials are stitched together with the editing techniques, the final product won't be produced. So previously आपका ये question भी आ सकता है कि mind में ये question आ सकता है कि previously editing कैसे होता था. तो बहुत minimal editing होता था early Indian cinema में, क्योंकि there were very less equipment available at that point of time. So This is what is referred to as the key to cinema. It is the editor's job to piece the whole movie together from all the scenes and different cameras. So post production में हम लोग देखते हैं कि the editor sits down with the director और वो लोग डिस्कस करते हैं कि entire film कौन से किस सीन के बाद कौन से सीन आएगा, कौन सी इफेक्ट्स यूज करना है. सो इट इज नॉट ओनली अबाउट टू स्टिच टुगेदर और टू कीप द सीन्स वन आफ्टर द अनदर. वहाँ पे और भी बहुत कुछ प्रोसीजर्स चलता है, लाइक स्पेशल इफेक्ट्स क्या क्या देना है, फिर डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ एडिटिंग टेक्निक्स कैसे यूज करना है. तो there are thousands and hundreds of editing techniques are available. So how to use that in order to make the final product. So the film element, which is referred to as the key to the cinema, is called the editing. So option D हमारा right answer है. हम लोग next question देखेंगे. Next question mise-en-scene से है. So the question is, mise-en-scene mainly deals with what kind of sound? हम लोग पहले options देखते हैं. Option A, sound effects. Option B, diegetic sound. Option C, non-diegetic sound. And option D, sound bridge. तो पहले अगर हम लोग देखते हैं तो mise-en-scene के बारे में थोड़ा जान लेते हैं कि mise-en-scene is basically whatever you see on the screen. आप स्क्रीन में जो भी देखते हो एक पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम में, वो सब mise-en-scene है. तो what will be the right answer here? The right answer will be diegetic sound. क्यों? क्योंकि mise-en-scene, जैसे मैंने बोला कि आप लोग देख रहे हो सीन में, जो भी देख रहे हो, जो भी प्रॉप्स वगैरह, एक्टर्स और जो भी है, वो mise-en-scene के अंदर है. ठीक है, वो mise-en-scene है. अभी diegetic sound क्या है? Diegetic sound is basically when you see the source of that particular sound in front of you. ठीक है, तो mise-en-scene बेसिकली फोकसेस ऑन द डायजेटिक साउंड. आप जो देख रहे हो उसका सोर्स उसी स्क्रीन में, उसी पर्टिकुलर फ्रेम में है. अगर देयर इज अ बर्ड चर्पिंग, तो आप बर्ड को देख सकते हो. बर्ड इज अ पार्ट ऑफ द mise-en-scene, और आप बर्ड का जो साउंड है वो ऑन स्पॉट सुन भी सकते हो. Right, so that is diegetic sound. Often students make the mistake of confusing between diegetic and non-diegetic. आप लोग just ये याद कर लीजिएगा कि diegetic sound is basically whatever you see on the screen and hear it immediately. मतलब साउंड का सोर्स आप लोग के सामने होगा, बट नॉन डाइजेटिक साउंड इज बेसिकली जिसका सोर्स आप लोग के सामने नहीं होगा, समथिंग दैट इज गोइंग इन द बैकग्राउंड, और जिसका सोर्स आप लोग के सामने नहीं होगा. अगर बर्ड्स का चर्पिंग होगा तो बर्ड सामने नहीं रहेगा. ठीक है, सो दिस इज अबाउट व्हाट mise-en-scene डील्स विद. सो mise-en-scene's focus is basically on the diegetic sound. The diegetic sound is a sound whose origination is essentially located in the story or the narrative world. हम लोग ये entire scene को एक narrative world के तरह देखते हैं. ठीक है, that is, it is heard within the film diegesis. So the voice of the characters, क्या क्या diegetic sound हो सकता है एक mise-en-scene के अंदर. Voice of the characters जहाँ present होंगे उन लोग का voice. Sound from the objects that are in the story world. अगर किसी चेयर को मूव किया जा रहा है तो चेयर का साउंड आ जाएगा. तो वो साउंड भी एसेंशियली डायजेटिक है, क्योंकि हम लोग उसके सोर्स को देख सकते हैं. ठीक है, ऑन स्क्रीन देख रहे हैं. तो ये हो गया डायजेटिक साउंड. सो mise-en-scene क्या डील करता है? mise-en-scene, this is the very simplest thing कि mise-en-scene, you have to first know what mise-en-scene is. Mise-en-scene is when you see whatever props you see, whatever actors, light, sound, everything you see on the particular screen, not in the entire film. Entire film अगर हम लोग कहेंगे तो वो cinematography हो जाएगा. ठीक है, तो whatever you are seeing on the screen is mise-en-scene, and mise-en-scene basically deals with the diegetic sound. So option B is our correct answer. Our next question is, the concept of film as an art began in which year? So the options we have here are option A 1911, option B 1922, option C 1944 and option D 1956. देखिए 1956 के टाइम में पैरेलल सिनेमा आ गया. ओके, 1944 में तो लेजिट फुल ऑन फिल्म्स वर मेड. 1922 में अर्ली फिल्म्स भी चालू था. तो 1911 में हम लोग देखेंगे कि art cinema as a concept of art was introduced. Okay, what is meant by the art? So these are the films, basically directed towards a niche audience, not for the mass audience. तो हम लोग जब mass audience को relate करते हैं एक फिल्म के साथ, तो हम लोग देखेंगे कि mass audience basically prefers musical films or films with dominated themes, जहाँ पे एक एक पर्टिकुलर थीम वो पर्टिकुलर टाइमलाइन में डोमिनेट कर रहा है, तो वो सारे फिल्म्स तो मेन स्ट्रीम हो गया. बट देयर वर ऑल्सो फिल्म डायरेक्टर्स हु फेल्ट कि ये सब फिल्म का थीम से, ये सब डिफरेंट थीम्स के साथ ऑडियंस रिलेट नहीं कर सकता है, क्योंकि ये 1911 के टाइम में तो मतलब it was entirely a war period at that point of time, so the people of the society could not relate to the other films that were made at that point of time. जो मैजिक एलिमेंट्स जॉर्ज मेलिए तब इंट्रोड्यूस किए थे ट्रिप टू द मून में, डिफरेंट न्यू एडिटिंग टेक्निक्स वर इंट्रोड्यूस्ड, तो सिनेमा कहीं ना कहीं एक सिंथेटिक मटेरियल इंट्रोड्यूस्ड करने लगा, जो कि सोसाइटी के कुछ groups के साथ it was not going parallel wise. So some directors felt कि ये इस फिल्म का concept is not matching with that of what people are going through, जो सोसाइटी में हो रहा है, वो अगर शायद फिल्म में दिखाना होता तो और अच्छा होता, right? So this concept of film as an art where major social issues were shown, these were basically independent films where the entire market was based on the niche audience, not the mass market audience. So is films ka all these films were pioneered by D.W. Griffith, Sergei Eisenstein, or different Italian filmmakers, because Italian neorealism is also a part of the where these kind of art films were made. So यहाँ पे हम लोग कहेंगे कि an art film is typically an independent film which is aimed at the niche market, and the forerunners were essentially D.W. Griffith's Intolerance, Sergei Eisenstein's Battleship of Potemkin. तो अगर आप लोग को जानना है कि what art film is actually about, so these films are most watched. अगर आप लोग इस फिल्म को नहीं देखेंगे तो you will not understand what are the characteristics I'm talking about, and ये art film कैसे begun हुआ. So the concept of film as an art film basically began in the year 1911. So option A is our correct answer. Next question हम लोग देखेंगे, question number 5. Which film theory basically deals with the male gaze? This is a very important question. It often comes in UGC NET. So the options we have here are auto theory, option B feminist theory, option C psychoanalytic theory, and option D queer theory. So auto theory पहले हम लोग देखेंगे कि it deals with director as a god. Psychoanalytic theory that deals with how film impacts upon our mind, and queer theory is basically that deals with the exploration of human relationships. हम लोग के पास बाकी रह गया feminist theory, and from the name we can understand our correct answer is option B, that is the feminist theory. So this term male gaze was essentially introduced by a pioneer of feminist theory named as Laura Mulvey. Laura Mulvey pointed out कि ये जो male gaze है, it basically predominates the classical Hollywood filmmaking. Right, so feminist theory basically हम लोग जानते हैं कि deals with the issues that women are facing in the society, and how women are objectionalized in films, and how they are considered to be as not the main character, or not given the importance of to have the equality in that particular film, but it is seen something as an object, or it was essentially given the particular male gaze. So ये male gaze क्या है? Male gaze is basically a particular shot was shown, that is the short reverse shot. That is, for example, हम लोग ले लेते हैं कि A और B दोनों characters है, A एक male character है, B एक female character है. तो हम लोग देखेंगे कि ये male gaze, how directors show this male gaze is A और B are looking at each other. ठीक है, B is looking at A is looking at B. But the director shows कि A B को कैसे देख रहा है. ठीक है, ए का पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से हम जब हम बी को देखते हैं, दैट इज द फीमेल को जब हम देखते हैं, तो कैसे देखते हैं? तो ये शॉर्ट रिवर्स शॉट देके एक पर्टिकुलर फिल्मिक टेक्निक है, एक पर्टिकुलर कैमरा टेक्निक है। इसे यूज करके मेल का पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से हम लोग देखते हैं विमेन को कैसा दिख रहा है एक पर्टिकुलर सीन में। तो ये जो मेल गेज है वो क्लासिकल हिंदी फिल्म मेकिंग में बहुत प्रिडोमिनेंट था एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, एंड दिस वाज एक्चुअली इन लाइक raised by Laura Mulvey in her feminist theory that male gaze is actually predominating in filmmaking, and through the use of various film techniques like short reverse shot, the viewers are led to align themselves with a point of view from the male protagonist. So हम लोग male protagonist के point of view या मतलब male protagonist के साइड से देख रहे हैं कि how he is actually gazing at that particular female actress or the women. So notably, women function as objects of this gaze far more often than the spectator. So इसका मतलब है कि जो स्पेक्टेटर मतलब जो मेल प्रोटैगनिस्ट है उनका जो मतलब प्रॉक्सिमिटी है, वहां से हम लोग कैसे देख रहे हैं, उसका पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू क्या है. सो द मेल गेज वाज एसेंशियली इंट्रोड्यूस्ड बाय Laura Mulvey in her feminist theory. So option B is actually the right answer. Our next question is, what approach was portrayed by Mrinal Sen in his films? So हम लोग का options है A feministic approach, option B realistic approach, option C psychoanalytic approach, और option D Marxist approach. तो जब हम लोग इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर देंगे तो हम लोग को मृणाल सेन के we have to know about Mrinal Sen in detail. So we know that Mrinal Sen was essentially a pioneer of parallel filmmaking who portrayed the working class or the struggles of working class. So when we are talking about struggles of working class, we are talking about the Marxist approach. That is the option D. Therefore, option D is the correct answer. So Mrinal Sen जब film introduced कर रहे थे industry में, तब entire Calcutta, he was a Bengali filmmaker, Calcutta was going through the Naxalite movement. So entire society was shaken up at that point of time. So he only wanted to make films that the audience could actually relate to. So since Mrinal Sen ka film was started off from the parallel cinema, जहाँ पे heavy societal themes था, और there was no music or dance course at that point of time, and only very common people were used as actors or protagonists of the entire film. तो उस time में Mrinal Sen was essentially given the quote unquote the identification or the reputation of a Marxist artist, because he was giving the identification of the working class जो प्रॉब्लम्स डील करते हैं या फिर जो प्रॉब्लम्स वो लोग फेस कर रहे हैं, सोसाइटल्स जो प्रॉब्लम्स है, वो मृणाल सेन की फिल्म की फिल्म का जो थीम्स है वहां पे रिफ्लेक्ट होता था. सो the films he made were overtly political in nature and earned him a reputation. इसके वजह से मृणाल सेन को बहुत criticism भी मिला एक point of time में, because it was extremely political in nature, his films, and he was given the reputation of the Marxist artist. It was also the time of large scale political unrest, जो मैंने अभी बोला कि वहाँ पे political unrest चल रहा था throughout India, especially in Calcutta, when Calcutta was going through the Naxalite movement at that point of time. So this phase was immediately followed by a series of films. So what Mrinal Sen did at that point of time, since he could not relate to the other themes, like if he wanted to relate to the themes portrayed by his colleague Satyajit Ray, because Satyajit Ray basically essentially portrayed the rural part of India. तो मृणाल सेन कहीं ना कहीं उसको रिलेट नहीं कर पाया, क्योंकि the entire society was burning at that point of time. So he decided to bring out the problems or the villains of the middle class society and then portray that into his films. We will also see that being a person or an artist who was inclined towards the Marxist regime, his films were essentially commercially famous. So therefore, the approach that was portrayed by Mrinal Sen in most of his films were essentially the Marxist approach. Okay. So the next question that we have here is, which of the following directors was honored by Bharat Ratna? Options are Dadasaheb Phalke, option B, Mrinal Sen, option C, Satyajit Ray, and option D, Raj Kapoor. I have often seen कि students लोग ये mistake करते हैं कि अगर कोई directors मतलब directors को honorary award दिया जाता है तो they just go for Dadasaheb Phalke, and I don't know why. But please make sure that you know that the correct answer is Satyajit Ray. Satyajit Ray was essentially given the award and the honor of Bharat Ratna. He is the Indian Bengali film director, scriptwriter, documentary filmmaker, author, essayist, and magazine editor, illustrator and calligrapher, and a music composer. So you see the range of career span he is having. So the amount of greatness as a director he is having is vast. His first film, Pather Pachali, was a milestone in Bengali cinema. It was his debut film. Remember that also. It was released in 1955, and that cinema was actually, opened what parallel cinema is to the audience for the first time. And for the first time, the viewers were introduced to the authentic language of cinema, that is the in a Bengali film. And the government of India awarded Satyajit Ray with Padma Bhushan in 1965 and the highest civilian honor, that is Bharat Ratna, shortly before his death. So Satyajit Ray was basically honored with Bharat Ratna. Our next question is, in which film Hrithik Ghatak, I'll just bring it down so you can see the entire question. Yeah. In which film Hrithik Ghatak used the portrayal of inanimate object for the first time in Indian cinema? Let's see the options we have. Option A, Ajantrik. Option B, Subarnarekha. Option C, Meghe Dhaka Thara. And option D, Chinamud. All these films are actually Hrithik Ghatak's films, so it can be confusing at some point of time. But we have to know what is inanimate object. Inanimate object is basically a non-living object that was portrayed by Hrithik Ghatak for the first time in his film. And it was basically an automobile, and the right answer is Ajantrik, that is option A. So Indian cinema for the first time saw that an inanimate object, which was an automobile, basically it was a car that was given the main character, the role of a main character in cinema, and it was for the first time that the Indian audience saw something like that. So Hrithik Ghatak was essentially the first person to use an inanimate object, that is a non-living object, in his film Ajantrik for the first time, and that is something, this was a difference that was brought into the themes of parallel cinema. This is how directors kept on experimenting. He could have just used any other person as the main character of the film, but parallel films के जो directors है वो experiment करते रहे कि different techniques से कैसे storytelling किया जा सकता है, कैसे new themes introduce किया जा सकता है. Or you have to know that this film was essentially commercial success. We know that Hrithik Ghatak's film, most of them did not get the amount of identification. उस टाइम में वो सब फिल्म को नहीं मिला था क्योंकि ऋतिक घटक essentially had a cult following. उनका जो फिल्म था वो मास अप्रिसिएशन उनको that point of time में नहीं मिला, but उसके बाद it got a very good recognition and he was awarded for many times, but at that point of time it was only followed by a particular cult. So Hrithik Ghatak's first commercial release was Ajantrik in 1958, and it is one of the earliest films that saw the portrayal of inanimate object. In this case it was an automobile. So option A, Ajantrik, is the right answer. हम लोग का next question है, what color was used or introduced by Dadasaheb Phalke on his sets? Options क्या है? Options है black, option B red, option C yellow, and option D white. So हम लोग देखेंगे कि अगर हम लोग को ये जानना है कि कौन सा कलर सेट्स में यूज होता था, तो you have to know what were the characteristics of the early Indian cinema at that point of time. So at that point of time, it was black and white. All the films were black and white. but the color red was essentially used by Danasai Phalke. Why? See, at the directors at that point of time, or even today, they have a complete idea about what cinematography is, even though it is led by the cinematographer. The director is a person who knows the entire thing of whatever is going on in the set. So at that point of time in early cinema, जब entire film was black and white, वहां पे उस टाइम पे 3 पॉइंट लाइटिंग या फिर अदर इक्विपमेंट्स अवेलेबल नहीं था, बहुत लिमिटेड इक्विपमेंट्स अवेलेबल था. एंड पीछे जो बैकग्राउंड यूज होता था उस टाइम सिनेमा में वाज बेसिकली अ पेंटेड बैकग्राउंड. अभी इन कंटेम्पोरेरी फिल्म्स यू विल सी डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ 3D लाइटिंग्स के वजह से मिड ग्राउंड, फोरग्राउंड और बैकग्राउंड तीनों एक साथ है, और हम लोग को ये पता नहीं चलता है कि दैट इज रियल और नॉट, वेदर इट इज अ स्टूडियो और एन a legit location. So तब अर्ली इंडियन सिनेमा में हम लोग देखे थे कि इट वाज जस्ट अ बैकग्राउंड यूज्ड एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, और यहाँ पे एक पर्टिकुलर कलर यूज होता था. तो आप लोग ये सोचेंगे कि ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट में हु केयर्स कि कौन सी कलर हो. So it is important. Why? There is a tone of color, whether it is black and white or a color thing, एक टोन होता है जो मतलब आपको एक सेंस देता है कि डेप्थ ऑफ फील्ड कैसा है. ठीक है, तो ये मतलब एक बैकग्राउंड अगर आपने लगा दिया तो इट्स लाइक ओके, इट्स नॉट समथिंग रियल इन नेचर. बट अगर एक टोन हो, अगर एक डेप्थनेस हो, फिर भी ऑडियंस एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम विल हैव एन आइडेंटिफिकेशन कि ये समथिंग इज बीन शॉट आउटसाइड और गिविंग अ थिंग. अगर पीछे कोई पेंटेड बैकग्राउंड है, एक trees and birds and mountains, so it will give them a sense that it is about an outdoor location they are doing. The entire film has been shot in an outdoor location. So in order to bring a change in the depth of field or in the tone of color, he essentially used the color red, Dadasaheb Phalke. So the color red was used by Phalke on his sets, even though the films were black in color, but it essentially changed the tone of grayscale. Grayscale का जो tone होता है वो change हो जाता था. You can actually see, just as an experiment, you can actually see if if you have a black and white picture and you are wearing something red in color, you will see that how a tonal change is there. Like the black and white picture on white on a white color under a black and picture will have a different tone than that of a red picture under the black and white lighting, right? So in order to bring a change in the tone of grayscale, Dadasaheb Phalke essentially used the color red. Therefore, in order to create a mood, the strategy was used by him to create a mood, to create the mood of the audience that something that has been shot outside, or to give a greater depth of field. So ye red color was used by Dadasaheb Phalke on his sets. Next question we have is, Bimal Roy's work as a director was specifically known for what? Options we have: cinematography, option B editing, option C narrative, and option D mythosy. So Bimal Roy was basically a person who started off his career as a cameraman, and he had the total identification of what cinematography is before he started his work as a director. So he essentially was known for his work in the entire mythosy. Now people will often make the mistake of answering it as cinematography since he started off his career as a camera person. But it is not the right answer. The right answer is mythosy. क्यों? क्योंकि बिमल रॉय मतलब उन्होंने करियर स्टार्ट किया था सिनेमाटोग्राफी लेके और कैमरामैन एज अ प्रोफेशनल कैमरामैन. But as he started working as a director, he was essentially known for the use of mythosy in his film. एक example दूंगी so that you can have a better understanding. If you watch Bimal Roy's दो बीघा जमीन, you will understand कि उस फिल्म में जो प्रॉप्स यूज किया गया है, जो लोकेशन यूज किया गया है, या फिर मतलब जो एक्टर्स का रोल है, सो इट इज सो मच it is basically so much realistic in nature. The amount of realism that he brought about in his entire film like there is a cart scene where you will see that the actor is actually, actually have practiced with the entire, like a real card in order to bring out his entire real expression. So in order to bring out the realism, he used great mise-en-scène in his entire film. Mise-en-scène is basically, as you know, whatever you see on the screen, that is mise-en-scène. It can be the props, it can be the costume, it can be the makeup of the actors, it can be the actor's performance, the lighting, everything. Whatever you see on that particular frame is called mise-en-scène. So 1932 or 33, Bimal Roy worked as a assistant cameraman and a cameraman on documentaries, but his career began when he was employed as a promotional photographer. So this made him professional to work with the visuals. So उनका जो आइडिया था विजुअल्स के बारे में या फिर स्टोरी टेलिंग टेक्निक्स के, वो बहुत एडवांस्ड था. तो he essentially introduced those factors in his filmmaking, and that is why his work is particularly known for mise-en-scène, in which he employed realism, or जो realism का factor था, that was introduced by Bimal Roy in his work through mise-en-scène. Next question we have, who is referred to as the greatest showman of Hindi cinema? The options are Manoj Kumar, option B Guru Dutt, option C Raj Kapoor, or option B, Mehboob Khan. Now, Mehboob Khan, you can have the idea that he is basically known for making commercial films, commercial yet successful films. But there is one person who actually was not only known to the Indian audience, but to the audience outside at that point of time, and that is Raj Kapoor. Raj Kapoor was a person, who made films out of the line. He was criticized for a number of times because of the sensationalization that he showed at that point of time, which most of the Indian audience could not, digest at that point of time. So, वहाँ पे Raj Kapoor decided कि वो क्रिटिक्स के बात नहीं सुनेंगे, बिकॉज ही न्यू कि उन्होंने एक नीड क्रिएट किया था ऑडियंस के अंदर, ऑडियंस में, कि जो नीड जो राज कपूर फिल्म्स बनाते थे वो नीड उसको सेटिस्फाई करता था, राइट? सो Raj Kapoor ka films, Soviet Russia or outside India it was very famous. Okay, so the range of films he made and the range of popularity he got through these films essentially gave him, the title of greatest showman of Hindi cinema. Raj Kapoor को बहुत सारे awards भी मिले थे, like Palme d'Or or Cannes Film Festival. So he got a lot of awards at that point of time. So उनका जो range था film making में, और उनका जो ये attitude था कि critics के बात नहीं सुनेंगे, क्योंकि he knows what his audience required from Hindi cinema and what kind of films he was making. He was very confident. He introduced various important themes like Mera Naam Joker and Bobby. There are different themes जो एक theme के साथ दूसरे theme का कोई match नहीं होता था, but he introduced these new concepts into this entire Indian cinema. So he is essentially referred to as the greatest showman of Hindi cinema, and option C Raj Kapoor हम लोग का correct answer है. Next question हम लोग देखेंगे, which Indian film was the first to receive an Academy Award nomination for the best foreign language film? Options है Taqdeer, option B Aurat, option C Naima, and option B Mother India. तो दो options हम लोग यहाँ पे देखेंगे, और वो है औरत और Mother India. महबूब खान औरत made औरत when in the beginning of his career. Okay. So again, he made essentially Mother India as a part of, again, he remade Mother India as, or remade Aurat as Mother India. And this film was the first foreign language film that was, nominated by the Academy Award. So Mehboob Khan will be forever known as a director of Mother India. उन्होंने ये film जब डायरेक्ट की थी, मतलब जब डायरेक्ट किया था, it was actually औरत, before it was Aurat, and then he made Mother India, right? So Mehboob Khan will be forever known as the director of Mother India, the first Indian film to receive an Academy Award nomination for the best foreign language film. The film Aurat was remade years later after महबूब खान हिमसेल्फ मेड मदर इंडिया स्टारिंग नरगिस एज द लीड रोल। तो यहाँ पे हम लोग लीड रोल में भी नरगिस को देखेंगे और इस फिल्म को फर्स्ट टाइम एकेडमी अवार्ड नॉमिनेशन मिला था फॉर द बेस्ट फॉरेन लैंग्वेज फिल्म एंड दैट इज मदर इंडिया एंड इट वाज डायरेक्टेड बाय हुम, ये भी आपको याद रखना पड़ेगा, एंड दैट इज डायरेक्टेड बाय महबूब खान। एंड यू हैव टू ऑल्सो अंडरस्टैंड एंड रिमेंबर कि मदर इंडिया वाज द फर्स्ट फिल्म दैट वाज मेड अंडर हिज ओन प्रोडक्शंस और महबूब खान का प्रोडक्शंस हिज ओन प्रोडक्शंस नेम वाज महबूब प्रोडक्शंस। Look, our next question is, who is referred to as the father of Indian cinema? This is a very common question that we get to see. Options are Dada Saheb Phalke, option B Guru Dutt, option C Satyajit Ray, and option D V Shantaram. I have often seen कि students ये गलतियां करते हैं कि सत्यजीत राय को father of Indian cinema बोल देते हैं और आंसर स्टिक कर देते हैं, but this is wrong. The father of Indian cinema is essentially referred to as the only person, and that is option A, Dada Saheb Phalke. क्योंकि Dada Saheb Phalke was rewarded with the title Father of Indian Cinema क्योंकि उन्होंने इंडिया का फर्स्ट फुल लेंथ फीचर रिलीज किए थे और एंड दैट वाज टाइटल्ड एज राजा हरिश्चंद्र इन 1913. So Thundiraj Govind Phalke, who is also known as Dada Saheb Phalke, was given the introduced the factor of cinema for the first time in the world of Indian cinema and often referred to as the father of Indian cinema. और उन्होंने जो फर्स्ट फिल्म इंट्रोड्यूस किया था वो एक फुल लेंथ फीचर फिल्म था एंड दैट इज राजा हरिश्चंद्र इन द ईयर 1913. हम लोग का नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, नेम द फर्स्ट मोशन साउंड फीचर फिल्म ऑफ इंडिया. So the options are Raja Harishchandra, option B Ganga Avataran, option C Shri Pundalik and option D Alamara. So first motion sound feature film से हम लोग क्या समझ रहे हैं कि sound for the first time use हुआ था film में. So we often make the mistake of choosing between Ganga Avataran and Alamara. Ganga Avataran was the first talkie of Dada Saheb Phalke. लेकिन option D Alamara is the right answer क्योंकि अदृश्य ईरानी डायरेक्टर अदृश्य ईरानी पहले इंट्रोड्यूस किए थे साउंड फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम इन इंडिया एंड उन्होंने सिर्फ साउंड का ही इंट्रोडक्शन नहीं किया, उन्होंने जो थीम का थीम का जो एक तरह से थीम माइथोलॉजिकल थीम का जो जॉनरा आ रहा था इंडियन सिनेमा का उसको भी ब्रेक किया. ही इंट्रोड्यूस्ड अ न्यू थीम इन हिज फिल्म्स. और एक कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स जो आपको याद रखना होगा आलमारा के कि उन्होंने जो साउंड का एक बहुत अच्छा इस्तेमाल किया एंड दैट इज ही इंट्रोड्यूस द लैंग्वेज इन उर्दू एंड इन हिंदी. उन्होंने ये क्यों किया क्योंकि ही अंडरस्टूड दैट द सोसाइटी इज डाइवर्स. इंडिया का जो पीपल है और इंडिया का जो डाइवर्स नेचर है उन्होंने ये समझा और साउंड का एक अच्छा इस्तेमाल किया कि ही इंट्रोड्यूस द मिक्स ऑफ हिंदी एंड उर्दू इन अलामारा टू एंश्योर कि इट हैज अ बेटर रीच अमंग द the wider audience. So option D Alamara is the right answer. Don't make the mistake of giving it Ganga Avataran क्योंकि वो दादा साहेब फाल्के का first talkie था. But the first motion sound feature film of India was essentially made by Adrashid Irani and that is Alam Ara. Next we will see our question. Shri Pundalik by Dada Saheb Torne was based on which play? The options are Marathi play, option B Bengali play, ऑप्शन सी पर्शियन प्ले, ऑप्शन डी इंग्लिश प्ले. तो ये श्री पुंडलिक बाय दादा साहेब तोड़ने ये फिल्म बहुत कंट्रोवर्शियल है क्योंकि दादा साहेब फाल्के का जो फिल्म राजा हरिश्चंद्र है इसके साथ कंट्रोवर्सीज में आ गया था कि कौन सी फर्स्ट फिल्म है इंडिया का. बट श्री पुंडलिक बाय दादा साहेब तोड़ने वाज बेसिकली बेस्ड ऑन द प्ले व्हिच वाज मराठी प्ले, दैट इज ऑप्शन ए. ये एक एसेंशियली फीचर फिल्म नहीं था, ये एक डॉक्यूमेंटेशन था. दादा साहेब तोड़ने एसेंशियली डॉक्यूमेंटेड अ मराठी प्ले दैट वाज हैपनिंग राइट इन फ्रंट ऑफ हिम. तो श्री पुंडलिक वाज अ फोटोग्राफिक रिकॉर्डिंग, वो एक फोटोग्राफिक रिकॉर्डिंग था एक मराठी प्ले का. ठीक है. सो और उसका कैमरामैन भी एक ब्रिटिश ब्रिटिश नेशनल था, जो उसका नाम था जॉनसन, एंड उसका जो फिल्म प्रोसेसिंग था, द एंटायर फिल्म वाज प्रोसेस्ड एंड प्लेस्ड वन आफ्टर द अदर abroad. It was done abroad in London, and there was no dialogue in the film, and it was a silent film without any kind of sound. So it was basically a documentation. एक documentation था एक मराठी play का. तो option A is the right answer. Question number 16, we have both parallel and commercially induced films dealt with what kind of film? The options are love triangle theme, option B, social theme, option C, patriotic theme, option D, melodramatic theme. तो parallel and commercial यहाँ पे है हम लोग के पास दो words. So parallel is something that is realistic in nature और commercial that is commercialized, जो commercialized था. Mainstream cinema में हम लोग देखे थे love triangle, melodramatic theme था. पर जो पैरेलल सिनेमा है और जो कमर्शियलाइज सिनेमा है वो एसेंशियली डेल्ट विद द सोशल थीम, दैट इज ऑप्शन बी. तो इंडियन फिल्म इंडस्ट्री बेसिकली ऑफर्ड कमर्शियल मूवीज. ये कमर्शियल मूवीज का जो थीम था वो एसेंशियली सोशल थीम था. वो सोशल थीम इसीलिए पोर्ट्रे कर रहा था क्योंकि वो लोग फिल्म को एज अ मीडियम मिरर के तरह यूज कर रहे थे. जो सोसाइटी में जो कुछ भी हो रहा है उसका रिफ्लेक्शन मूवी से आए. सो इन ऑर्डर टू क्रिएट एन अवेयरनेस अमंग द ऑडियंसेस, एक अवेयरनेस प्रिपेयर करने के लिए ही ये सोशल थीम्स यूज किया जा रहा था. एंड इट वाज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड बाय विमल रॉय, राज कपूर, महबूब खान, गुरुदत्त, एंड they essentially showcased the difficulties जो working class गुजर रहे थे at that point of time. So the social theme was essentially used at that point of time. So option B is the correct answer. Question 17 we have, who is the pioneer of film language? Film language का pioneer कौन था? The options are Edwin S. Porter, option B, K.T. John, option C, Augustus Lumiere, and option D, D.W. Griffith. So यहाँ पे आपको ये देखना है कि film language क्या है. Film language is basically the elements that we see in film, the way film is particularly made. तो ये was essentially introduced by no one but the director named as Edwin S. Porter. Edwin S. Porter, was a person जिन्होंने सिनेमा में एडिटिंग क्या है, he introduced that for the first time in cinema, and he essentially उन्होंने basically बहुत सारे editing techniques का इस्तेमाल भी किया है उनके films में, and he essentially worked with various techniques. He introduced techniques in his films, and he was very much revolutionary at that point of time. उनका जो film था वो जो newer techniques launch कर रहा था at that point of time, something that the audiences have never seen before. So the cinematic language that was used to communicate with the audience के साथ communication रखने के लिए जो सब techniques introduced किया जा रहा था वो Edwin S. Porter ने की थी. So option A is the right answer. Next question we have, the film movement of neorealism began with, the options are Cesare Zavattini, option B, Vittorio De Sica, option C, Roberto Rossellini, and option D, Arthur Bannister. So हमारा question है कि neorealism कहाँ से begin हुआ, ठीक है, किसके film movement से कौन से डायरेक्टर से बिगिन हुआ. सो इट इज ऑफ्टन नॉट विक्टोरिया De Sica. I've often seen people making the mistake of answering it Vittorio De Sica, but the answer is essentially our option C, and that is Roberto Rossellini. Roberto Rossellini introduced the factor of neo-realism. Neo-reality जो है वहाँ पे इटाली में तभी white telephone films बहुत was the mainstream film at that point of time. तो जब इटाली was going through the war period जहाँ पे society could not relate to the white telephone films, तो society जब ये relate नहीं कर पा रहा था कि ये white telephone films क्या है, यहाँ पे जो luxury दिखा रहा था वो उनके real life में तो नहीं हो रहा था क्योंकि the society was going through the war period. So Roberto Rossellini was the first person to introduce the entire neorealism through films like Rome, Open City, Paysan, Germany, and Year Zero through his film, and it was the entire film movement that was started by him. So option C, Roberto Rossellini, is the right answer. Question number 19 is, John Grierson coined the term, the options are feature film, narrative, option C, drama of life, and option D, documentary. So John Grierson was basically the pioneer of documentation of life, right? So he essentially coined a term that is today referred to be as the portrayal of something real or realistic feature. So he essentially coined the term documentary. Option D हम लोग का right answer है. जॉन ग्रियर्सन ने जो वर्ड कॉइन किया था दैट इज डॉक्यूमेंट्री, वो अप्लाई करता है टू द मूवीज दैट आर इन्फ्लुएंस्ड बाय द रियलिटी, दैट इज लाइक showing what is going on in front of your eyes. ठीक है, एक documentation. So in the writing of Flaherty's films Nanook and Moana, he for the first time उन्होंने ये word use किया था documentary or documentation of the reality or the actuality that was happening in front of him. So option D, documentary हम लोग का right answer है. Next question, which Hindi film actress was originally named as Mehzabeen? The options are Madhubala, option B Nargis, option C Meena Kumari, option D Geeta Datta. तो हम लोग को ये आंसर देना है कि विच फिल्म एक्ट्रेस को हम लोग मेहज़बीन नाम से जानते थे. तो यहाँ पे essentially we have all the options मधुबाला, नारगिस, मीना कुमारी एंड गीता दत्ता. और हम लोग ये जानते हैं कि मीना कुमारी, ऑप्शन सी इज द राइट आंसर, बिकॉज मीना कुमारी was originally named as Mehzabeen. उनका फर्स्ट पहला नाम था Mehzabeen and then it was converted into Meena Kumari. He was essentially was known for many popular films और उनका ये भी एक कैरेक्टरिस्टिक था कि वो मीना कुमारी फिल्म सेट्स में बहुत पढ़ती थी. She was a very avid reader of books. So Meena Kumari was an Indian actress and a poet who worked in Hindi films, and she was one of the historically incomparable person of Hindi cinema, and she उन्होंने बहुत सारे roles भी किए थे, and that was very much popular at that point of time. So Meena Kumari is the right answer. Our next question is, the term middle cinema is referred to which class of people? The options are elite class, option B middle class, option C poverty class, and option D none of the above. तो हम लोग को ये टर्म मिडिल सिनेमा देखना है कि हम लोग कौन सी क्लास ऑफ मतलब सोसाइटी का कौन सी क्लास ऑफ पीपल को रेफर कर रहे हैं. We have elite class is not related to middle class, not poverty class, but essentially the option B, that is the middle class, is essentially referred to the middle cinema. From the name only we can understand that when it is referring to middle cinema, that is the middle class. That is, they are showcasing the working class of the society. Middle cinema is coined for the term for the movies that actually, जो movies essentially working class को मतलब एज अ फोकस करते हैं. वर्किंग क्लास का जो डिफिकल्टीज है, जो इश्यूज वर्किंग क्लास is going through, the societal problems that they are going through was given to middle cinema. अब middle cinema में we have seen that there was एक symbolism का use भी होता था, और एक mandatory songs were essentially used in middle cinema. Even though कि हम लोग ये कहते हैं कि middle cinema parallel cinema के बाहर से ही आया है, और like they carry the essence of parallel cinema, they essentially carried songs, क्योंकि songs directors को ये लगता था कि songs essentially connects the audience at that point of time. So middle cinema essentially portrayed the middle class at that point of time. So option B is our correct answer. Question number 22 we have is, Indian cinema became a dash enterprise. मतलब Indian cinema became what enterprise? कौन सी part का enterprise बन गया Indian cinema? The options are regional, option B national, option C global, and option D all of these. So Indian cinema basically became a particular enterprise only after 2000. Why? Because after 2000 globalization took place. There was a transaction. एक transaction शुरू हो गया था Indian cinema industry और बाहर की industry में. तो essentially जो enterprise चालू हुआ था Indian cinema का, वो essentially global था, quote unquote. So as commercialization took place, जब commercialization चालू हुआ, Indian cinema started to break the shackles. उन्होंने जो उनका जो मतलब एक combinedness था, एक confinedness था, एक wall था, 4 walls के अंदर, कि यहाँ पे इंडियन सिनेमा का जो एक walls था वो उन्होंने break किया, like the Indian cinema broke that and traveled the world, and that is why I told कि यहाँ पे एक transaction शुरू हुआ कि यहाँ का film बाहर जाएगा, बाहर का film यहाँ आएगा. तो ये सब शुरू हुआ only after globalization, and that is the global and Indian cinema became the global enterprise. The option C is the correct answer. Question number 23, we have identify the proper sequence of the films given in terms of their historicity. That is, आपको identify करना होगा कौन से film एक के बाद आया. So the options we have here is option A, Swayamvaram, Coolie, Slumdog Millionaire, Pather Panchali. Option B, Slumdog Millionaire, Pather Panchali, Swayamvaram and Coolie. Option C, Swayamvaram, Coolie and Pather Panchali and Slumdog Millionaire. And option D, Pather Panchali, Swayamvaram, Coolie and Slumdog Millionaire. इस टाइप का क्वेश्चंस कैन बी कंफ्यूजिंग बिकॉज यहाँ पे ऑप्शंस थोड़ा इधर उधर करके दिया गया हुआ है, बट यू हैव टू नो व्हाट आर द डेट्स. सो वी विल सी पॉथर पांचाली हियर वाज रिलीज्ड इन 1955, Swayamvaram उसके बाद 1972. Then we see the emergence of Coolie and Slumdog Millionaire. Therefore, option D is the correct answer. और ये आपका correct sequence है. According to the dates आपको recognize और identify करना है. Next question we have, Satyajit Ray's Pather Panchali is the adaptation of a novel written by which Bengali author? मतलब सत्यजीत राय का जो पॉथर पांचाली डेब्यू फिल्म था वो एक एडाप्शन था एक नॉवेल का. तो आपको आंसर देना है कि कौन सी बंगाली ऑथर का है वो नॉवेल. The options are Rabindranath Tagore, option B Bibhuti Bhushan Bandyopadhyay, option C Sharat Chandra Chattopadhyay and option D Michael Madhusudan Dotto. आप ये याद कर लीजिएगा कि ये स्पेसिफिकली रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर नहीं है, क्योंकि ये ज्यादातर गलतियां स्टूडेंट्स लोग करते हैं कि रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर को रिलेट कर देते हैं जब भी दे सी अ बंगाली ऑथर थिंग. सो डोंट डू दैट मिस्टेक. द करेक्ट आंसर इज एसेंशियली ऑप्शन डी एंड दैट इज विभूति भूषण बंदोपाध्याय. विभूति भूषण बंदोपाध्याय का जो नॉवल था 1929 में रिलीज किए थे वो पब्लिश किए थे वो नॉवल का नेम ही पॉथर पांचाली था. सो सत्यजीत राय का फिल्म पॉथर पांचाली वाज एसेंशियली एन एडेप्टेशन ऑफ अ नॉवल रिटन बाय the Bengali author Vibhuti Bhushan Bandyopadhyay. So option B is the correct answer. Last question we have is we have to match the following. यहाँ पे एक लिस्ट दिया गया हुआ है और लिस्ट का मैं बोलूंगी कि ऑप्शंस है हैलोवीन, हॉरर, एक जॉनरा दिया गया हुआ है, ठीक है, जॉनरा और फिल्म. मैग्निफिसेंट ऑब्सेशन, वी हैव द जॉनरा मेलोड्रामा, देन बैंडवैगन एंड म्यूजिक, then Nirja and tragedy. So आपको यहाँ पे ऑप्शंस दिया गया हुआ है और आपको ये डिसाइड करना है कि कौन सा राइट ऑप्शंस है और you have to match the following कि कौन से फिल्म के साथ कौन से जॉनरा हम लोग रिलेट कर सकते हैं. सो सी नीरजा, पहले नीरजा देखते हैं क्योंकि ये फिल्म बहुत कॉमन है एंड हम लोग सबने देखे. सो नीरजा इज गोइंग विथ ट्रेजेडी, ठीक है. हैलोवीन इज गोइंग विथ हॉरर. Magnificent Obsession is a melodramatic film and you have to, this is a must watch film, and Bandwagon is essentially music film. So option 4 is our correct answer. आपको यहाँ पे match the following करना है. So Nirja with tragedy, Bandwagon with music, Magnificent Obsession with melodrama, or Halloween with horror. So this was the match the following answer, and the answer is option 4. So this was all the 24 questions that I have covered today from film and visual communication from the first part. I hope everything is clear to you. If you have any doubts or questions, please let me know. That will be it for today's lesson. Thank you so much.